The Fallreaver Oakheart Sentinel is a really cool, sort of like necrotic, acidy sort of based Oakheart Sentinel, and it's a lot of fun. It's also a really good damage dealer. So that is what we're going to do here. We're going to go over the Fallreaver, level by level, combat tutorial, and all the items you could need. So let's jump right in. Now with the Fallreaver, we get Taint Carrier. So Reavers carry Taint on themselves and can channel it to their weapons. We also have a proficiency bonus to attack rolls with simple weapons. And heavy armour will not impose disadvantage on attack rolls or prevent you from casting spells. We also gain Inflict Wounds. We gain Shield, a nice reactionary way of boosting our chance of missing damage. And the Orb of Autumn, which is just an orb full of acid damage. So for cantrips, we're going to take Thorn Whip, Produce Flame, and Guidance. 3 really good spells. We've got 2 utility ones, and then 1 to help us pull creatures towards us so we can attack them with our melee weapon. And then when it comes to actual spells, we're going to take Thunder Wave, nice way of pushing enemies off of balconies, beams, buildings for full damage or to just outright kill them. And Create or Destroy Water, because we are using the Lightning Jabber for this, so we can make enemies wet and then hit them with lightning damage. For your ability points, we're going to be taking 16 Strength, 10 Dexterity, 14 Constitution, 10 Intelligence, 16 Wisdom, as this is our spellcasting modifier, and 10 Charisma. For your proficiencies, take whatever you feel like you need for your playthrough. Oakheart Sentinels level 2 gives Oakheart casting expertise, so all Sentinel classes use summons, allies, and spirit companions. To keep them safe in battlefield, they learn to carefully shape their offensive spells. Now we are going to take Ice Knife here as an ice-based damage dealer. We've got Fire and Acid on our Lightning Jabber as well, so let's just take some ice damage. And then when it comes to a class passive, we are going to take Defense, gain a +1 bonus to armor class while wearing heavy armor. Oakheart Sentinels level 3, Autumn Child. Spells you cast and attack as you make ignore resistance, acid, and poison damage. In addition, when you deal acid or poison damage with a spell, you cannot roll a 1. We gain Tainted Touch, so essentially we get Vampiric Touch, as well as Rays of Blight. So this will do a 1d6 poison, acid, and necrotic damage, and essentially it's just like a little beam you shoot from your fingers. We gain 1 more spell at this point, so for this one we are going to take Heat Metal. Again, a nice way of ensuring enemies drop weapons, making the battlefield easier. Oakheart Sentinels level 4 gives us our first feat. Now, before this we get another spell, and for this one we are going to take Enhance Ability, get that utility based spells going still. And then for your feat, we're going to take the ability score improvement and bump our strength up to 18 at this point, because we are mainly a melee frontliner. Oakheart Sentinels level 5 brings Companion's Bond, so our proficiency bonus is added to its armor class and attack rolls for companions. We gain extra attack, so we can make an additional free attack after making an unarmed or weapon attack. We get Animate Dead, so we can start building some summons. And Earth Wound, which is essentially just the Hunger of Adar, and I love this spell. 2d6 cold damage if a creature starts its turn in basically the darkness. 2 to 12 acid damage if they end within it, and it's classed as difficult terrain, and this was in my top 10 list of spells for Baldur's Gate 3. We get 1 more spell at this point, so we're going to go back to the lightning damage and take Cool Lightning. Oakheart Sentinels level 6 brings more spells, so for this one we're going to take Plant Growth, nice way of just really nullifying an enemy's movement speed. Oakheart Sentinels level 7, Exceptional Training, so our animal companions can dash, disengage, and help as bonus actions. None of this is important for us. We do have Blighted Needle though, so we can summon a Blighted Needle to help us in a fight. And Edvard's Black Tentacles, another spell that was on my top 10 list. This, combined with the Hunger of Adar in Moonrise Towers, eviscerated the enemies in the central hub. Now sadly, we wouldn't be able to do both at the same time as both are concentration spells, but either one works so well. Now we gain 1 more spell at this point, and for this one we're going to take Conjure Woodland Being to increase our summons. This will allow us to summon a Woodland Being, or a Dryad, and the Dryad allows you to also summon a Woodwode, so for 1 spell you get 2 summons. Oakheart Sentinels level 8 brings our next feat. We also gain another spell, so for this one we're going to take Wall of Fire. And then for a feat, we're going to take the ability improvement and we're going to bump our wisdom up to 18, because again, this is our spellcasting modifier. Level 9 brings Cloud Kill. This is a great spell. It's a huge amount of poison damage, and as long as you're concentrating on it, it will continuously deal poison damage every turn, and you can reposition the cloud every turn, meaning for 1 spell slot you can keep moving it around. We also have the Throne, so this is a huge amount of necrotic damage as well. We gain one more spell at this point, so for this one we're going to take Insect Plague, as I think it fits the theme of the build really well. Oakheart Sentinels level 10 brings Bestial Fury, so your bond with your companions has deepened, unlocking their inner strength and giving them an extra attack. We gain more spells, so for this one we are going to come down here and we'll take Ice Storm. Oakheart Sentinels level 11 lets us summon a Cursed Mound, call forth a Tainted Shambling Mound to fight by your side, and Circle of Death. Circle of Death is amazing, it's a huge necrotic AoE, but when I say huge, I mean huge, and it's so easy to do friendly fire. Now we gain level 6 spell slots here, so the first one we're going to take is Harm. Again, awesome, reduces the target's maximum hit points, so this works so well if you know there's a healer in the battle. You can put this on like the big bulky dude or whatever, the one with the most hit points. You don't have to worry about them being able to recoup their health maximum. And then Oakheart Sentinels level 12, we get another feat, as well as one more spell. So for this one we're going to take an early level spell to try and save as many of those high level spell slots as possible. So me personally, I would take maybe something like Bark Skin. And then for a feat, we're going to take our Wisdom up to 20. Now let's go over our equipment. We are using Sabrok's Horned Helmet as a helmet. So Dark Vision up to 3 meters, or 15 if we already have it. Reduce the number we need for a critical by 1, so it's now only a 19, not a 20. And we cannot be frightened or afflicted with other emotion-altering conditions, and Constitution saving throws +1. Because we're so acid and sort of necrotic based, we're going to go with the Flesh Melter Cloak. So whenever a creature deals melee damage to the wearer, that creature takes 1 to 4 acid damage. We're going to take the Disintegrating Nightwalkers, so it cannot be enwebbed, entangled or ensnared, can't slip on ice or grease, and we get Misty Step, meaning we have so much good maneuverability on the battlefield. For armour, we're going to take the Flawed Helldusk Armour, 18 armour class. When we get hit by a foe within 2 meters, it might take 1 to 4 fire damage, meaning we can give it acid damage and potentially fire damage. We take 1 less piercing damage. Now for gloves, we are going to take the Helldusk Gloves, +1 bonus to spell attack rolls and spell save DC, and our weapon attacks will deal 1 to 6 fire damage. We'll also get Rays of Fire and a strength saving throw +1. Now we're boosting our weapon with the Caustic Band, so we gain 2 acid damage, and the Strange Conduit Ring. So we'll concentrate on our spell, we'll deal an additional 1 to 4 psychic damage with our weapon attacks. For an amulet, we're going to take the Moondrop Pendant, so when we have 50% hit points or less, we won't provoke opportunity attacks. And then finally, for a weapon, the Lightning Jabber, and you can see how much extra damage we have on this thing. It also means on a shock we can possibly, on a hit, we can possibly shock the target, and we can also throw it. So that is the build, let's go check it out. Okay, we've left combat, so let's pump out some of our stuff. First things first, let's get our summons, so we'll get our Woodland Being going. We're going to cast it at level 4, and this gives us our Dryad. And again, the Dryad can summon their Fallen Lover. So for 1 spell slot, we've got 2 companions. We also have the ability, when I can actually select, there we go, of summoning our needles and stuff. So where are they? There you go, summon the Cursed Mound. So let's get this going. And yeah, it's probably bigger than you expected. We can also summon our little earthworm needle thing. So summon the Blighted Needle. And there we go. You can see lots of cool stuff here. So let's go find the combat. Okay, you can see we're in the combat in the turn order, and unfortunately us and our summons are all near the bottom. And there you can see we get a nice attack of opportunity with 6 damage. Okay, so it's time for the Dryad. Now the Dryad's really cool because they can do a strengthened Shillelagh, so let's get that going. And they can also ensnare enemies if they hit them. Now unfortunately they did maintain their saving throw, they didn't make their saving throw for our ensnarement, but we did break their concentration on their ensnarement. And you see we pumped out some pretty solid damage with the Dryad. There's also our little Poison Needle. So let's send the Poison Needle up here, we'll just do a very base attack. You see, not the biggest amount, but they do have a Needle Burst, so we can throw this sort of down here. If it's going to do it, is it going to do it? There you go. And you see huge damage from this thing. Now there's our Cursed Shambling Mound, and this thing is awesome as well. This has lots of good stuff. It's also got multi-attack, devour, whips and everything, and a digestive step. So let's do our whip. Try and pull this enemy towards us over here. Okay, the Woodwode can also pump out some really good damage. So let's bring the Woodwode into here, and we'll focus on Skeeve. And there you go, a solid 14 damage. And as you can see, they just make really good meat shields for the battlefield. And that brings us to our Oakheart Sentinel. So let's start doing some stuff. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to buff our main attacks. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's get a Earth Wound going. And we'll throw Earth Wound down here. And there you go. Now we're concentrating on this attack, meaning our weapon attacks are now going to be buffed as well. And we can get a Tainted Bear going as a companion, just like that with our bonus action. Now the bear itself also has some pretty good damage, but you can see it can pump out some really fun damage like this, and it can benefit from all our class abilities of being able to help disengage and all sorts.
Blood comes easy these days.
So once again, you can stack out this class as a frontline melee damage dealer or with a bunch of awesome summons. Now you see they took 4 damage because they started their turn within the Hunger of Adar, and because they're going to end within it, they'll also take acid damage, as you can see down there. Okay, it's time for the Dryad. Now again, the Dryad's going to just do a very basic attack, and there you go, 23 damage. And we're going to try and move them out of danger. Now, again, with our Poison Needle, we can shoot needles towards a creature. So let's shoot it at this one. And there you go, 14 solid damage, and we broke their concentration. You see the Spellcaster took 4 damage there, and you can see the difficult terrain coming into play there. And once again, took acid damage, breaking their concentration. Now it's time for our giant mound of just death over here, and we'll show you a very basic multi-attack. And there you go, you can see the damage you can pump out with this. And we still have our bonus action, so we can just do a bonus action whip, for example, if we had enemies nearby and all sorts. Now see, the Woodwode is within our hunger, but that's okay. We will just stand in the hunger and try and swing at enemies or keep them occupied, so we can sacrifice a summon that's pretty bulky to keep enemies within the hunger for extra free damage. As you can see there, 3 damage from that. You'll see we've also strategically placed our allies or our companions on the edge so they can't run away, and they took extra damage that way too. Leaving us with our bear, and once again the bear has some really cool things. So we can do a honeydew pour to try and get them to drop their weapon, just like that, and then we can follow up with a regular attack too.
Time to push my luck again.
And because we are concentrating on our Hunger of Adar here, it means we can follow up with a big attack, and you can see we get the extra psychic damage, and we can pump out 2 of these because we have an extra attack. And you see they had to take that action to pick their sword up, and we're just pumping out the damage within this. Now unfortunately they made their save there, so they didn't take the acid damage, but you can see how easy it is to just make choke points. And then we've got our Dryad still. Now our Dryad, there's not really much we can do at the moment. We could throw down a spike growth if we wanted to, so we could try and throw that, say, here. So now you see we've got spike growth, and we have the Hunger of Adar, meaning when they try and walk through it, not only are they going to be taking damage for the movements, but they're also going to be taking cold and acid from the Hunger of Adar. And we've still got our little poison dude here, so again we'll just do a very basic attack on the barbarian here, so you can see the damage. And it's only 1, so if you're going to use your little cursed blight needle, make sure you're using your needle burst. So we'll throw this one down here, and you'll see we're going to pump out a load of damage when it stops lagging. There you go. We got our bear. Now the bear can jump to all sorts of places if need be. Unfortunately it can't see that stuff, so we're just going to end its turn. We, however, are going to Misty Step. So we're going to come up here. And we're going to show off some of our amazing class abilities. So Rays of Blight. Now unfortunately the target is too close, so let's try and come over here. And we'll do our Rays of Blight. So you can see the damage we can do with this. Now, damage, obviously not huge because they are a rogue, but they are poisoned for 2 turns. You see, taking cold damage there. And because they're still stuck with it, they are going to almost take the acid damage. And obviously we have so many good spells we can choose from. We've got a level 6 harm, so if we throw this on the enemy here, you'll see they made their save because again they are a rogue, but huge damage with that too. And because of our strength, we have a good chance of being able to push enemies around. Just like that, you see they took 3 damage from that. Cold damage once again, because they're still within the hunger, because we've maintained our concentration. And then at that point, it's very much just a case of ending the fight with our 2 attacks. See, we did a big crit there. And there you go, and because we have killed them, we get a newborn zombie, which I bet you didn't know. So that is how awesome this build is. That just leaves 1 down here. Now the newborn zombie, you can't control, it will do its own thing. And you can see the enemy died from the Hunger Havadar down there. So that is this build to a T. It is just incredible. Now I want to do something to just make us lose concentration. So how can I do that? Let's do guidance. And there you go, there goes our hunger. And we didn't even get to animate dead, so you can continuously stack up even more summons with this. So we could come in here with an animate dead, we'll get a skeleton squad. And we'll raise this enemy here too. And there you go, so after battle you can just get some summons and just keep going through this. It's such a fun frontliner, it's awesome, it's got a bunch of my favourite spells. I cannot recommend this subclass enough. So if you've enjoyed, please drop the episode a like, it helps me amazingly. If you're new and not subscribed but you'd like to, that would also be amazing. Check out the channel for other guides, I've got guides for Baldur's Gate, I've got guides for Dragon Age, for Path of Exile, all the RPGs you could need. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.